If you're not delusional, are you okay?
Welcome back to episode 2 of Dumb and Broke. I am your co-host, Chelsea.
And I'm also your co-host, Bryan.
You wanted to say host, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, man.
We're back in it.
We have an episode down. Like, that's pretty cool.
It really is cool. And thank you so much to everyone who streamed it, tagged us. It is a really, really, really good feeling.
It really is. Of course, like, our friends, like, that's amazing, like, to have friends that support us and repost. Like, it really feels really good. But, like, the people that, we don't really speak to on the daily basis, maybe we see, like, weekly or not even, getting feedback from them has been, like, really, really nice. Make it, I don't know about you, but, like, I feel, like, truly special.
It does make you feel special. And it's just like, I mean, we've always done this for fun anyway, and we wouldn't care if somebody walked up to our face and told us that they hated it. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it just feels really good.
Yeah, and like all things considering, with episode 1, with all the technical difficulties, I think episode 1 came out pretty nice.
I think we did great.
Yeah, especially from like the audio version. I think we sound great. Our voices are beautiful.
La 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 la. And it's only going to get better, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we actually haven't really caught up, like, in the last week. Truly, like, I feel like we summarized via text, but, like, you went away.
Oh, true.
So, like, how was Colorado?
So I went to Colorado this weekend. I went to visit my friend Cassie, one of my dear friends. It was her birthday. It was so nice. Could not have picked better weather. I don't know what it is with trips recently, but we've been hitting like the 75s, nice, which is perfect. And she's just one of those friends where you can, like, and we talked about this recently about your favorite things. It's just like the little things that you do together, like getting ready, or even I think Sunday we went to Red Rocks on Saturday, which was my first time, and that was a whole experience, and it was a ton of fun. But Sunday, I just remember we laid outside in her patio furniture underneath the sun and probably didn't talk for like an hour, and it was so nice. Not that I don't want to talk to her, but I think those friendships where, like, you don't have to say anything, even though we don't see each other as often, is still, like, it's just so nice.
I agree. Like, yeah. And we were just talking about, like, my personal favorite part of, like, friend trips is the time in between, like, the afternoon activity and the night activity, when you're just, like, laying in bed, scrolling through TikTok, not really talking, maybe just, like, here, look at this meme, but, like, I don't know, that in between.
But it's
time.
Like in person. It's not like via text like we
Exactly.
would usually do, or like we're going out and I feel like we always have kind of an agenda. There's like no agenda, which is nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Cassie.
Happy birthday, Cassie. Yeah. So what have you been up to?
Well, cheers to.
Cheers. It is Saturday. We don't usually record on a Saturday, so if you feel like the energy is different, it definitely is.
Yeah. This is weekend energy. We typically record Tuesday nights, so this is a little different. But since we've been apart, I went on a date.
Tell me more.
Which you know a little bit about.
I actually don't know a lot.
Yeah, I really didn't tell you the full story.
No.
So this is actually new news to you. Well, last week on the pod, I mentioned that I had been texting this dude who's a little bit older, and he made it pretty clear that, like, he was really just looking for, like, a hookup and to see where things go, which is not really my way of doing things, but whatever. So
you went in open-minded.
I did. I truly did. And, we had planned to hang out last weekend, and, midday, it was a Saturday, it was literally a week ago, he calls me, which at first I'm like freaking out, like, how dare you call me? But then I was like, oh, hey, I really appreciate that. Like, I
love a phone call.
Right? So called, and he was like, what are you doing later? Do you want to go to the movies? I was like, oh, wow, maybe he had a change of heart. Maybe he, like, respects me now and he wants to go on a date. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's go to the movies. So get to the movies. We're both, like, kind of running late. So he arrives. I was there like 5 minutes before him, and instantly I'm like, ugh. Because clearly he was not the person he was the person in the photos, but the photos were clearly old photos. So that was really disappointing. He just like appeared different. Like I don't want to be mean, but he looked significantly older, and there was a weight difference. And like I said before, like I'm fine with a big boy. I kind of knew that he was on the bigger side.
You just want to have your expectations going
Right.
in, and I feel like that's fair.
Right. So that instantly was like, ugh. But it gets like worse, just like for me, really. So we go straight to the movie because the movie's about to start. And as I'm sitting down, I like feel my pockets, and I'm like, ugh, I don't feel my keys. So I lost my keys. I'm looking underneath the seat, and they're not there. And in my mind, I'm like, they must be in the Uber or something. But then I had no service, so I couldn't even contact Uber in the theater. And then the movie starts. I'm like, shit. I'll worry about it after the movie. But I'm sitting in the movie next to someone I'm unfortunately not interested in. And I don't know where my keys are. So I'm like thinking like, what am I going to do later? But the movie finally ends, and he goes and like looks under the seat to help, which this is like completely side note, and this is like actually an ick, but when he would like bend over, I just like saw too much.
No!
Did we talk about last week how like we talked about like uncoordinated men?
Uncoordinated.
It was kind of giving me that. Like it was just like,
Was it like plumber's crack?
I didn't even necessarily see the crack, but I saw too much that I didn't want to see.
No.
I don't know. I can't explain it. But anyways, the keys weren't under there. I go outside of the theater, contact Uber. My keys are there. Whew! So then he comes out, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go meet the Uber. Like, you don't feel like you have to wait. And he was like, no, I'll come wait. And I'm like, ooh.
Yikes.
So I get the Uber comes, and I get my keys, and then I'm just like so stressed after all that. Like, I'm just gonna go home. And I think that's when he like got, okay, we're not on the same page. So then he's like, okay, which way are you walking? I'm like, that way. He's also walking that way. So we had like
Six.
So, but then we said goodbye, and it was just like, nice to meet you. So
Did he ever follow up text?
No, I think he knew, which I appreciate that. But I mean, I guess that was a really long story. Sorry, guys. Hopefully that was entertaining. But I don't know. I feel like
that's your first date in a while, though. It's entertaining for me.
yeah, that was my first date of the year for sure. Like probably in the last like 6-7 months or whatever. But I feel a little bad, honestly, for like I feel a little judgmental. But then again, like I also feel lied to. You know what I mean? Like
I think that's fair. I definitely do. And like me personally, like I'm a stronger woman. I definitely have, like, I would never, I feel like I put pictures and stuff on my profile that's like, okay, this is the full body representation. I even do like a video that shows that like I have a lot of muscles, because I never want to go into a situation. I mean, and I would think that was fair if I went in there like, oh, like I actually had no idea what I was getting myself into. That would make me feel bad.
yeah.
So maybe I'm saving myself from it, not necessarily saving somebody else. But yeah, I feel like that's just like people will like you for who you are. Just
Exactly.
who you are on there.
Yeah, I feel like I slightly got catfished in a way. Like I don't know, but in a way, I think I got my guilt. I think I got karma for it, because this past week, here's another. Hopefully, I'm going to try to make the story short. So yeah, I went out the other night and to see a friend who was in town, and she had invited like a bunch of other friends, and most of them I had never met. And one of their friends invited one of their gay friends. And I guess before I had arrived and before that gay friend arrived, they were all talking, and they were like, oh, like I wonder if Bryan and so-and-so will like hit it off, blah, blah, blah. I guess they were like kind of plotting. And when I arrived, one of my friends like whispered to me like, oh, like, are you into him? And I was like, yeah, like he's cute. Definitely my type. like just off appearance. I haven't even like had a conversation with him. And then like we have a night. The guy didn't really give me much attention. Annoying, but you know, whatever. It's fine. I don't really do that. Even if I'm into someone, I don't necessarily give them a bunch of attention. So
you were still on the track that he's obsessed with you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in that moment, I'm like, he has to like me.
He's just
like,
so shy.
right? Like, yeah, like what's not to like about me? Yeah, he was just so shy. Then later I find out, like yesterday, I found out that one of my friends had asked him at some point over the night, "Oh, are you like into Bryan?" And he flat out said no. Which,
Rude.
but like honestly, that kind of hurt my feelings.
I think that's warranted.
I'm like kind of embarrassed.
I mean, I think your feelings are valid, but I don't think you should be embarrassed. I just
Yeah.
think there's just so many things that go into attraction that like it's so hard to blame yourself for somebody not liking you. Like, that's a him problem. His loss, baby.
Yeah, I guess. But like, I guess I haven't really experienced that before. And like, I would not have allowed my friend to ask him. Like, if they like asked me like, "Oh, can I ask him if he's into you?" I would have said no. Like, please don't. But then again, I guess if it worked out in the other way, I would have been like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." But, I just feel like, I just feel a little embarrassed.
I think that's fair. But also, like, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
This is the, well, I guess this doesn't really work for you, but this is, my mom would tell me that every time a guy didn't like me back, he was gay. So I guess for you, he's probably straight.
Yeah.
He's just like really hiding it. He loves the gay community. He's trying to be in it, but like he's probably straight.
I don't know. I just feel like delusional sometimes. Like, I don't know. Do you feel like you're delusional?
Okay, I'll tell you my delusional story. And this happened recently. And it was so humbling. Okay, I'll set the scene. There's this guy that I work out with. Not us, we're in a group. But I just always feel or have felt like he's into me. Like, he's cute, not like I wouldn't look at him immediately and be like, "Oh my God, he's so hot." But he's cute. He is just like smiley. He's got simp energy. Like, but I also have this feeling. I'm like, ugh, like he likes me so much. He's gonna be so obsessed with me. And he's like asking me questions about things that we talked about, all this stuff. I'm just like, ugh. So I'm walking home one day after working out with him, and I'm like running through this entire future scenario in my head.
I do that all the time.
Like, don't get me wrong, like I want a simp, we've established that, but I also don't want somebody who's like so obsessed with me. Like, I'm already picturing having to break up with this man and it just being a whole thing and like him being the victim and I'm like a bully and like this whole ordeal.
That's a lot.
But then I like go and I'm like bring back my awareness and I'm like, maybe it won't be like that. Like, this could be somebody that you've wanted. So I'm having this internal battle. And then finally I get home and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna kick it off. The first step for this man, I'm gonna follow him on Instagram, give it an opportunity to DM me, and I find his social media, and yeah, it appears he is the obsessive type. He looks like he is obsessed with his absolutely drop dead gorgeous girlfriend.
Oh no!
So that for me was like, you are a crazy person. Like, you have just had this 30 to 45 minute conversation with yourself about this man that you thought was obsessed with you and he isn't. So that to me was like so humbling, and I just need to, it was a check for myself.
Well, he might still be obsessed with you. You never know. Or
I
you
mean,
might be delusional.
I'll continue to believe that if you allow it. But yeah, I totally relate on the being delusional part.
Yeah, I mean,
I can justify just about any scenario.
yeah, I mean, and when I'm swiping on the apps and I match with someone, like, like, you want to talk about delusion? I plan our entire lives. Like, I plan the wedding, the honeymoon, how many kids we have, the color car we're gonna drive. Like, I do it all. So
Same. And don't get me wrong, I'm considerate of like I'm thinking about what they like based on their profile, but like, yeah, the life is drawn up, and I think that's part of it too. If I just like can't picture it, or I can't see a life that I would want that I didn't make up in my own head, then like, yeah, swipe left.
Also, I like fully have like real conversations in the shower, like some that like will most likely never happen, some that actually may happen. Like I will pretend to have an argument with a complete stranger in the shower, like, and like I don't even know who I become. I act like I'm like this like tough ass dude who like knows how to fight. I'll be like, I'm from Fort Lauderdale, you don't want to mess with me, I got these hands. Like, who the fuck is that?
We always think about I've never been in a fight in my life.
No, me neither.
But
I want to be.
Do too.
Yeah.
I do too, and I think that I would be good at it. One,
I think I'd be good at fighting.
Number two, the scenario has to be right. It just has to be just perfect. Like, I am never going to be the bully and pick on someone. I rarely get mad enough as it is, but it would have to be like an injustice kind of situation where somebody's picking on one of my friends. I'd have to have this like really small friend who just like, or maybe they're really drunk or something. They're picking
I'm the
on
small
them,
friend.
and I'm sitting there and I probably say no like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna fight you, and they just keep pushing, and I have to just absolutely pummel them to the ground.
I love this story.
And then I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I didn't want to have to do that. Why'd you make me do that? And then I hope somebody gets it on video and it goes viral on the internet. That's what I envision.
Same, honestly. Like I want to be like the one that's like picked on. I want like this like bigger dude think that like, you know, I'm little scrawny little me. Delusion. And then like, surprise, bitch! I beat your ass.
Catch these hands.
Like I almost like want them to like call me like the F slur, and then at the end I'd be like, "Who's the faggot now?" Well, actually, no, that's not a good comeback. Anyways, I take that back.
You need to run through this again a couple more times in the shower.
Yeah.
Get it just right, and then we'll be ready. And then we'll be ready to rock. But yeah, I feel like that's normal. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't do that, are you okay?
If you're not delusional, are you okay?
Right. Yeah, I think there's a level. Well, I guess maybe I just surround myself with delusional people because everyone I know is like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
This conversation is so unhinged. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, probably.
Also, if you like are trying to fight, like, hit us up.
Right, but like we'll set the scene.
Yeah. And we're gonna win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Talk shit about Noah. And then we'll just have to like...
Oh, I thought you were telling me to talk shit about my own cat.
No. Noah is Brian's cat.
Yep.
Who's wandering around here somewhere.
He'll be on the podcast at some point, I'm sure. If episode 1 had worked out, like, the first time we ever recorded, he would have been on it. Because remember when he, like, came and he, like, sat down and if you guys don't know, Noah is, like, kind of a demon cat. Like, Chelsea has the scars to prove it.
Literally, quite literally have the scars to prove it.
Yeah. And so, like, at that moment, he, like, came to, like, cuddle you for a second. And you were like, oh, my God. Probably like profusely sweating underneath, but
a little bit. We're working on our relationship boundaries. He was starting to cross one. What Taylor Swift era would you say that you're in right now?
I'm so glad you asked, and I also can't believe we haven't brought up Taylor Swift on the podcast yet. It took us like an episode and a half to get here.
Here we are.
I'm definitely in my Lover era.
Ooh, I love that for you.
Yeah, and like Lover is actually an album that I used to hate on, but I love it. I'm like,
why would you hate on it?
I just thought it was like her weaker album. There's definitely it's because of the singles on Lover, like Me and You Need to Calm Down. I'm not a huge fan of those.
Gotcha. That's fair.
I'm usually not like a huge fan of like the biggest hits on the album. I mean, most of them are pretty good, but like they're not usually my favorite songs on the album. But there's so many good songs on Lover, and it's just like. But I will say it's kind of hard to listen to it. I listen to it differently now, knowing that her and Joe possibly broke up.
Oh my gosh. I keep going back and forth. Obviously, I'm on the talk. I'm on Swift Talk. Is that what they call it? Mm-hmm. And I mean, there are people that are like, talking about how they broke up, and Midnight's is actually a breakup album. They've been broken up and all of these things. But then there's also people that's like, oh, they didn't break up, but they're not technically boyfriend and girlfriend. They got married.
Oh.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
She's just so smart and calculated that, like, I feel like we're going to find out. But then we saw last night at her concert, she played You're on Your Own, Kid.
Mm-hmm.
And
We didn't go to the concert, but we saw
yeah,
him.
we didn't.
But if
we
you're on
didn't.
TikTok, you can't avoid
Yeah.
TikTok because
I pretty much see her appearances at every show she does.
I probably know the whole lineup, and it's 44 songs. So
right. So yeah, who knows? But I have a feeling we will find out more. Obviously.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't really care about like celebrities' personal lives. So, like, I actually don't really care whether or not they are broken up or not. What I do care about, and this is actually really selfish of me, in a very selfish way, I hope it's a really toxic breakup because I want a banging breakup album.
Oh my gosh, just the best albums.
She makes the best sad music, and I love sad music.
I think I knew another reference for me would be like Adele. When Adele went through a divorce, I'm like, oh, we're gonna get it. So yeah, and this would be a big breakup for her.
Yeah, they were together for like 6 years or so, and like even like during it, people are like, she can't keep a man, and like she actually kept this one a secret too. Like, unless you're like a diehard Taylor Swift fan, you didn't know she was dating anyone, let alone for 6 years.
Wild.
But,
Wild.
What Taylor Swift era are you in?
I don't know. This one's hard for me to like pinpoint, but I feel like I've been in her Speak Now era for a really long time. You know, that's my fave.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like you're giving 1989 right now, though.
am I? Oh, I guess I should address why I look like this. We're going to a 2000s party later on, so yeah. It's peace up.
A-Town, down.
It's not A-Town, but
Yeah.
yeah. Are you from an A-Town? You're not from an A-Town.
What the hell's an A-Town?
It's, I don't know. I'm from Abilene. We used to call it A-Town.
I think A-Town is just Atlanta. No.
Whatever.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Abilene, somewhere in BFE, Texas. We're like, A-Town down.
With your like Texas, like with your cowboy boots and
A-Town down.
with, like,
Take it to the market.
missing teeth and all.
It's not where I'm from, but like some of y'all out there. But yeah, so the Speak Now, I just feel like that one speaks to me a lot. It always has.
I'll say I'm out of all of her Taylor's versions that she's gonna put out, or she obviously has put out some. That one I'm actually really excited for because I don't know that album. I've never really listened to that one all the way through. I know like a handful of songs, so it's gonna be like new music for me.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, and that's also why I'm in my Lover era, because I didn't give Lover a full chance. There's a lot of songs that I would just like skip. So now that I'm like actually giving it a chance, a lot of the songs are kind of new to me. Like her opener on tour is Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. Spoiler alert if you didn't know that and you're going. She opens with that, and I never really listened to it until like 3 weeks ago, and now I love that song.
Well, I think that's a big one for her. Didn't she have that documentary that was Miss Americana?
Miss Americana, yeah. Which was so good. Like
it was so good.
Like, I don't want to make this whole podcast about Taylor Swift. I very well could. Like, the entire podcast, not just this episode. But I feel like for people who are Taylor Swift haters, which I will never understand, you can not like her music, but like if you're going to like flat out say you hate Taylor Swift, I don't get it. But I recommend watching that documentary if you haven't, because I know you have. But
yeah,
it's so good.
I've seen a lot of her like TikTok videos that talk about her addressing mostly addressing like the haters or like people trashing her music or like all of these things. And she said something recently that was just talking about, she's like, I have to realize that it's not an attack on me, it's an attack on women in the music industry. Like people will feel us coming out of our place, in air quotes, and will do anything to bring us back down. And I'm like, I feel like that's so true.
Wow.
Like
I didn't even hear
people,
that.
I don't think guys criticize or people criticize male artists in the same way that they criticize female
Absolutely
artists.
not. It's definitely way harder to be to be a woman in general, but like we're talking about the music industry, like think about it. Women, these artists, they constantly have to reinvent themselves. Like she's having an eras tour. Every album is like a different era. Maybe part of it is, a calculated move, but I'm sure, actually I'm not sure. I know for a fact she's had to like reinvent herself to stay relevant, to like, engage new audiences and keep people's attention. Men don't do that. Ed Sheeran has been putting out the same album every freaking year.
And people eat that shit
Yeah.
up. Don't
And,
get me
like,
wrong, love Ed Sheeran, but
I'm not like a huge fan, but like he's talented, but he doesn't have to reinvent himself.
right. And he doesn't have to like speak for himself on why he is so talented. He
Yeah.
doesn't need people to like go to bat for him.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, he's either good or he's not. And if they're not like, he's horrible.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, not my type, but move
Like,
on.
People like, also once you get like a astronomical amount of fame, you're just like automatically are like prone to hate. Like you.
I'd like
if
to
you're-
get there.
If you're right, right, I can't wait to get there. But like once you hit like mainstream, then you're a target for hate because like now you're not cool. Now you're accessible to everyone. So like, which that's another like argument that I can't freaking stand. Like people be like, yeah, I don't like them. They just like they're too mainstream. I'm like, what does that mean? Like that doesn't
It means they're good.
right? You don't like them because a lot of people like them. Like that doesn't even make sense. Like you don't sound cool. Like I don't think you sound cool by that. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a Nick for me.
It's Nick.
Yeah.
It's Nick. I will say, I know you talked about, you're like, I don't really care about reality TV's lives or just celebrities' lives, but I will tell you, when we're speaking about pop culture, I am looking forward to the Vanderpump Rules reunion because I care about their
Yeah.
lives.
So reality TV completely different. I wouldn't say I necessarily care about their lives because when I'm watching reality TV, it's like, I mean, I care about what's going on, but I look at it as like it's fake. It's fictional to me. Like,
Right.
It's just like, it's like a character in a movie, which is probably wrong for me to think because it's like actually their lives for the most part. Some of it might be fake, but like I don't view it as like a real thing.
Right. The cheating to me feels real, though.
Yeah. Actually, I take that back. There's been parts of Vanderpump Rules that has been slightly triggering for me, like Katie and Schwartz. Like, I feel for Katie. Like, I feel like Katie's one that like is hated a lot, but
I am Team Katie.
I'm Team Katie, and I get her. I feel like, she's a woman, and she's not like, she doesn't wear her heart on her sleeve. She's, very like strong.
And Schwartz is goofy and just gets away with literally anything.
Right. I feel like I've had like friends in high school that were like, that didn't really, no one was ever mad at them. And what it really is like, they lack emotional intelligence. So you can't get mad at someone when they don't really like have that like emotional side to them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like those people that are just like, they're just so silly. They're them. Like you can't get mad at them because like they don't have.
And you're like, no, I'm mad.
Yeah. But then the people who like show their emotions, they're perceived as like a bitch or an asshole or, and I feel like that's what's happening to Katie, but like she's gotten the short end of the stick this season.
The Schwartz end of the stick. And with that, I feel like we should dive into controversial opinions, or at least like recap last week's.
Yeah, let's do that because there's some interesting opinions. And actually, I don't know if you know the results.
I don't know all of the results, which if you are not following the podcast, is it Dumb and Broke Podcast?
It's Dumb and Broke Pod.
Dumb and Broke Pod on Instagram. You should.
On all platforms.
On all platforms.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, on all platforms, but the poll will be on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do polls of these so you guys can also respond to the controversial
Yes.
opinions.
And I love when people like please answer them, but like a lot of people will then go in and like DM us and like kind of like dive in a little deeper because I realize some of the answers are very limited. Like a lot of you want to be like it depends, blah blah blah, but like for the purposes of controversial opinions, you got to pick a side.
You got to pick a side, but I mean, we're also explaining our side, so
Right.
You can explain it, you can give more context, but yeah, you can't say both.
Right.
Don't say both.
Yeah. Well, that's never going to be an option.
Yeah.
So the first one that we put up was, do you consider Florida the South?
Oh, I already feel like.
And I put a disclaimer that we didn't mean like in a geographical sense because, I put the South in quotes.
We're not complete idiots.
Do you want to remind them what you said last week?
So, you want me to recap it now? Okay. Okay.
Just like in short.
So I do think Florida is the South.
And my vote, coming from someone who is from Florida, I said no. And the results are in. And 54% agreed with me that they don't consider Florida the South. And 46% said yes.
So it's a close call.
Yeah, and I found it really interesting because I went through and I noticed that the majority of people that said no, they don't consider Florida the South, have lived in Florida or have lived in Florida, and the majority of people that do consider it have never lived there, from my knowledge.
That makes sense.
I think that does make sense. Yeah, it's just I guess it's like a perception thing, but I found that interesting.
I think that's interesting too. I love that it was at least close.
Yeah. The next one that we put on was, so the actual controversial opinion was it said you shouldn't expect sex on the first date, something like that.
Yeah.
And I just put sex on the first date, ? And the 3 responses were, yeah, why not? Absolutely not. And not for me, but do you? And what do you think the results were?
That's a good question. I don't think that, I think it would be not for me, but do you? But just because the first 2 were so for sure.
That's how I responded to not for me, but do you. But the majority of people, I was actually surprised by this. Majority of the people, 64% of the people said, yeah, why not?
All right.
I love it. The Dumb and Broke viewers are very sex positive. I love that.
Yeah. I was wondering where you're going to go with that. It started with an S, and I was like, are you about to call all of our followers sluts?
Y'all sluts and hoes.
Sluts in the most positive way possible. Sex positive. Yes.
Yeah,
sex positive
so
group.
64%, yeah, why not? 30%, not for me, but do you? That's probably the safe response, right?
Right.
That's why I did that. And then 7%, which I think was 2 people, said absolutely not. I actually know exactly who they are, but I won't call them out. Yeah, I think that's funny.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last one was, this one's funny. Do you scrunch or fold your toilet paper?
I feel like I should defend myself here, because if you were one of the people that watched the YouTube version of this, I feel like just my picture of the claw, my brother texted me after this, and he's didn't say anything else about the podcast. He just texted me and said the claw was fucking insane. And I was just okay, maybe I shouldn't have gone in full claw, but the deal here is do you wad it up or do you take the time to fold it, in my opinion?
Well, the results are in, and 60% of people fold.
I think that's such a lie. I think people are lying.
I fold.
Okay, but I can see it for you.
You picture me folding.
I can picture you folding. You are a pretty organized, clean. I just don't think most people are like that. But I think in your mind, folding seems like the more appropriate response. But I would like for you all, this is a challenge, I would like for you all to just have some awareness while you're using the restroom.
Chelsea thinks y'all are liars.
I think y'all are liars.
Should we put up again and be okay, for real this time?
I would like you, go through your day.
And by the way, there about just over 50 people voted, just so you know. So when we're saying 60%, if you're thinking 60% of what? It was 54 people. So thank you for
thank you for voting. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, I don't know, maybe I'm just salty. That's fair.
Sure, that's fine to be salty. That's a very valid emotion.
You're just saying that because you're a rights wise.
Yeah, I love that.
That's really the only reason.
It's not a matter
of
it's
me. I'm the problem. It's me.
It's not a matter of right or wrong, but the majority agree with me.
Okay.
And that makes me feel great.
Next.
Also, I love, this is super random, but because your brother said that, one of our friends, Bridget, at the gym, she said she listened to the podcast and she goes, you had me at water pressuring your booty hole. That's what got her.
Yeah, we did end that podcast a little unhinged
Yeah.
as well.
That's fine. Shall we go into some new controversial
Let's go
opinions?
into new controversial opinions.
Yay. All right, so these are anonymous opinions that Chelsea put up. I'm sorry.
It was a while back.
Yeah.
People input. People. What is the word?
English is not-
Submit. People submit these anonymously, so we don't know who exactly said them.
Yeah, but these are from like the first time you put up.
Right.
'Cause you had a lot.
We had a lot.
So, all right. First one. Wearing socks to bed / during sex.
I don't care.
Oh, I care.
You care?
Just for me personally, I can't.
Oh, well, I mean, you know me, I can fall asleep in quite literally any circumstance, wearing whatever, anything can be going on around me, I will be sleeping.
You're probably wearing like a parka in the desert and be fine.
Right, and I'm not saying that I'm gonna like choose to wear socks to sleep. I'm not, but I have absolutely slept in socks and have been a-okay.
I can't my feet get all sweaty and I just can't. I can't wear them to sleep. The sex part, I don't know if I've ever had sex with socks on. I don't think I'd care about that, but going to bed, no.
I don't think I care either about the sex part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be there. It's been a while. Let me take a sip to that.
Taking a sip.
All right, next one. Harry Styles isn't that attractive. That is controversial. What do you think?
I want to hear your opinion first.
I mean, I think he's undeniably attractive. Well, I guess it says isn't that attractive. So I feel like this person is probably thinking that the hype is a lot. I think it's warranted. I think he's a really, really attractive man. And let me remind you, he's not really my type.
I don't think that if Harry Styles is who Harry Styles was, and I saw him at a bar, that I would be like, oh my God, that man is so attractive. I really don't. But I do, not to take Harry Styles down a notch. I think Harry Styles is Harry Styles for a reason. I think Harry Styles has a swagger, or what the kids are calling the riz. I think that felt hard to say. But I think he definitely has that about him that makes him so attractive. But if you're just physical, physical alone, no, I don't think.
I wonder if,
I wouldn't say he's not, but
in my
not
mind,
Harry Styles level.
In my mind, a straight cisgendered female submitted that, because I think I'm coming from a different experience. As a gay man, I think there's a thing about Harry Styles that feels attainable.
He has a fluidity
Right?
that appeals to both men and women. I believe that 100%.
I say this all the time, but whenever I'm with a group of friends, which are usually girls, and we talk about him, I'm I like the idea that all of us at this table right now have a chance with him. And that's how I feel, because it seems like he's just kind of a go with the flow kind of dude. Some people ask, is he gay baiting? I do think celebrities do that. Do you know what I mean by gay baiting?
Yeah, that he's trying to appeal to that audience.
Yeah, but it's not real.
Because I don't know that it's not real though. He just seems so comfortable in it.
Yeah.
That I don't know what would constitute whether it's real or not. I feel
Right.
like he is doing it.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Suck a dick right now.
But I'm not saying that he has to be gay.
Yeah.
But
I think it opens up actually a really good question about sexuality in general, because we love labels in this society. We love labels, and I think deep rooted, all of us are capable of forming a genuine connection with anyone.
you're all on the spectrum.
Right. I mean, I say that and then I'm I don't know if I could do it with a woman, but
You're very far on the opposite end of the spectrum.
But I don't know. I think there are people that are just more fluid and comfortable with that, you know?
Right. And even if he's like, even if say he's like not gay and you tell him to suck a dick right now and he was like, no.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's like putting it out there that he is gay.
Yeah, true.
But he is like fluid. I think he could even speak for like cis straight men that are like, you don't have to fit in this
Right.
very particular box. Like if you like more
Feminine.
more feminine clothing, or like if that's just who you are, like do whatever you want to do, kind of thing.
I feel like he's like the anti-toxic masculinity.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, who doesn't love that?
Did you hear that interview with Diplo? Diplo did an interview recently.
No.
I don't know if the interviewer asked if he's ever been with a guy, but Diplo basically said like, yeah, I'm sure I've gotten head from a man before, but I'm not gay. I'm sure I have. I don't remember. And everyone like went crazy. I definitely like view Diplo as like a straight man, and he very well could be, but the fact that he was like, I'm not sure, but like I think I have.
Yeah.
Kind of love that. But also like, I know every single encounter that I've had. So like, how much head are you actually getting, Diplo?
Wild. Diplo's had some crazy experiences,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, what a guy.
What a guy.
All right. Should we do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay. All right. This one says drag queens are good.
I don't think that's... I couldn't take somebody seriously that debates that. And
Right.
believe me, there are people on my Facebook feed that do. Like
I was going to say, it's not even controversial, but like obviously it's like a controversial topic in
Right.
society right now. But it's like, yeah, like what you were just saying, like I couldn't take someone serious if they're really about to say like drag queens are grooming kids. Really?
Yeah, that's the thing that I've seen that just like makes my head roll into the back of my eyes. There's people that are like, stop asking why drag queens can't read to kids and start asking why drag queens want to read to kids in the first place. And I'm just like, okay, like that is very much insinuating that they are grooming children. And I'm like, and then people will come on. I've like just scrolled through the feeds where people are like, you know, maybe they want those children to see that they have a voice if they are feeling that type of way. And they're like, that's not it.
It's
Just like,
so
oh
mind-boggling.
my gosh.
Like a lot of these just like conservative people, they over sexualize everything. Like there is, you know, drag queens can be sexy, but like there's a time and place. And I just feel like, I think it's really obvious that this is like a distraction of something way bigger. And these people that are like anti-drag queens are, which is ultimately anti like trans people. I feel like they don't know, like these people are so stupid that they don't know the difference between like trans people and drag queens. They kind of put them in the same bucket, which you can be a trans person who does drag, but like they're very different things.
But either one, like, mind your own fucking business.
Like, that's the thing. Like, mind your fucking business. Why do you give a shit? And it's like, then their argument will be like, because of the kids. I'm like, okay, well then.
But on that same note, then couldn't you question like literally every elementary teacher ever? Oh, stop asking why they want to be an elementary teacher, or why they can't be an elementary teacher, and start asking why they want to be. And I'm just like,
that's a good point.
Because they like to teach
Right.
kids. Like nobody's questioning that, but it's like, oh, you want to put on a wig and do it?
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
pedophile.
Right. Oh my god.
It's crazy.
But keep your guns. Keep your guns. They're not harming kids at all.
But that's also just that's a whole thing. And I think we talked about this before, and you were kind of like jaded on it, and like I think this is like a cover for something else because it's so like random and left field that like why are we even talking about this?
I think it's a way for these like, I hate to like, you know, put side, but it's obviously Republicans are the ones, you know, advocating to ban drag queens from, you know, doing their art. It's an easy way for them to distract. I hate to like call them stupid people, but it's like, you know, these people from these like small towns that like don't even know any better because they probably never even met a drag queen. They probably never met a gay person. They definitely didn't meet a trans person. So like when something is foreign to you, it's easy for you to like, you know,
right.
you know, and I think using them. I feel like they're being used. Like I feel like drag queens are being used to like mold these stupid people's minds. When it's all like,
as it's like something so bad.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I get that like psychologically you're naturally inclined to like things like or like people, like-minded people and things, but it's when those like you get all of the same people in one room that formulate this like off the wall opinion that's just not based on the rest of the world, and you can't even like you can't even like take into consideration what other people think. I think that is insane.
Yep.
That is insane. And it's why like every workplace requires some sort of diversity.
Yep.
So it's not this like absolute cult mindset of we all think the exact same and
Yeah.
we're going to burn it all down until everyone thinks the same as we do kind of thing.
totally. I mean, in conclusion, drag queens are good.
Yeah. And I
like,
don't even feel like we should put that up as a poll
I
because
know.
like if you don't think drag queens are good,
I don't really want you to listen to us, to be honest.
you're not the target market.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love drag queens. Last night was the gay Super Bowl. It was the Drag Race finale. And congratulations to Sasha Colby for winning. Spoiler alert: Sasha Colby won. Yeah, I just love drag. I love drag. I don't just love Drag Race. I love local drag.
You
too.
know how I know how much you love RuPaul's Drag Race? Is we just went out for a couple drinks, which
on a Friday night.
Friday nights are usually it. Like Friday nights are the big night. And we went out for a couple drinks and Brian was like, I gotta go home. RuPaul's Drag Race, the finale is coming on. I'm going home and I'm done.
Yeah,
and I'm
I was
just
home,
like,
I was home by like 8:30.
yeah.
Ordered me some Taco Bell and watched Drag Race. Like,
And that's how I know. That's a big deal.
it is real. And mainly because like normally on Fridays, like I'll just like watch it the next day, but like it was the finale and there's no way that I would be able to open up Instagram and not see spoilers. So like I had to. So, you know, I just have my priority straight.
I think you do. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Well, I think that's a great way to end the pod.
Yeah, this has been lovely.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, and then follow along on the Instagram as well if you want to put in your take on the controversial opinions or input a controversial opinion that you might have.
Cool.
Okay, bye.
Bye.